Well, good evening everybody and welcome to the East Gippsland Shire Council's meeting of the 15th of October 2024. The East Gippsland Shire Council live streams, records and publishes its meetings via webcasting. These recordings are available for viewing by the public by following the link on Council's website. During the meeting, any members of the public who are addressing the Council will have their image and comments recorded. No other person has the right to record Council meetings unless approval has been granted by the Chair. In line with the Local Government Act 2020, councillors are able to attend Council meetings electronically or in person, and the meetings will be open to the public via live streaming. If technical difficulties are experienced with live streaming during the meeting, we will adjourn until the issue is resolved. If the issues cannot be resolved, the meeting may be postponed to a later time or date. The East Gippsland Shire acknowledges the Gunai, Kurnai, Monero and Bidwell people as the traditional owners of the land that encompass East Gippsland and their enduring relationship with country. The traditional owners have cared for and nurtured East Gippsland for tens of thousands of years. Council value their living culture and practices and their right to self-determination. Council pays respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people living in East Gippsland, their elders, past, present and future. Agenda item 1.1.1 is confirming that the councillors online can hear and be heard. I'm just trying to find that little section in my notes. A member's attendance can only be recorded as present at a council meeting when a council member can confirm that they meet the following criteria. Firstly, that they can hear proceedings and be heard by other members in attendance. And secondly, that they can see members in attendance and be seen by other members. I'll now confirm with Councillor Buckley online that she can see and hear us.
Indeed I can, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Buckley. And can you confirm the location you're participating from is secure to ensure that confidential business remains confidential?
Incredibly secure, thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Buckley. We'll now move on to agenda item 1.2, which is apologies, and I believe, CEO, there are no apologies for this evening's meeting.
That's right, Mayor, no apologies.
Very good. Item 1.3 is declarations of conflict of interest. Councillors and staff, are there any declarations of conflicts of interest in matters to be considered tonight? No, I see none. Very good. Agenda item 1.4 is confirmation of minutes. Councillors, you will have seen the minutes circulated via email and read them.
Happy to move them.
Could I please have a motion confirming they are an accurate reflection of that meeting? Thank you, Councillor Reeve. Seconded, Councillor Uri. Would you like to speak to that motion, Councillor Reeve? No, Councillor Uri. Very good. Would anybody else like to speak to the motion of moving the minutes? No, in which case I'll put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? And that is carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors and CEO. The next meeting of the East Gippsland Shire Council will occur here at the Corporate Centre at 273 Main Street, Bairnsdale on the 3rd of December 2024. It's scheduled to commence at 6 p.m. I don't believe we have any requests for leaves of absence because this is in fact this council's last meeting. Now, I'll just take this opportunity to welcome our junior Rotarians that are with us for this evening. Eliza Kyle, Ernie Flitness, Amanda and Luca. I think you're all with us. Now, we've got a little gift for you for coming to our meeting, and I'll just come and present that to you now. Thank you, everybody. We'll now move on to agenda item 1.7, which is items for tabling or items for noting. There is one item for this evening's agenda, which is the Audit and Risk Committee Annual Performance Report 2023-24 that I would like to table this evening. Are there any questions on that? Councillors, we have seen that before. No? Very good. Is there anything else I need to do with that? No? Fantastic. Item number 2 is notices of motion, of which there are none. Item number 2 is actually deferred business, of which I don't believe there is any, which leaves us with agenda item number 3.1.1, which is Council's Meeting Resolution Register, which I believe sits with Ms Sarah Johnson. Thank you, Sarah. If you'd like to introduce the item. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Councillors, before you is a report titled the Council Meeting Resolution Register, which is seeking Council to note the resolution registers provided in attachments 1 to 4. The key points for you all. The reporting of Council resolutions is a vital measure of Council's performance and provides the information needed to demonstrate transparency and Council's accountability to the community. Our CEO is responsible for ensuring the decisions of Council are implemented without undue delay. This particular report is for the period of 1 July to 30th September 2024, and so from a numbers perspective there were 29 open council resolutions, not including resolutions for noting only, in the reporting period, of which 22 have been completed and 7 are in progress. 5 closed council resolutions, all of which are complete. The report also provides an update on the outstanding actions from the previous report tabled on the 6th of August 2024 meeting. This update is provided in attachments 1 and 2. That was all from me, so thank you, Mayor. Back to you.
Thank you, Ms Johnson. Councillors, are there any questions of officers in relation to that report? Councillor Buckley, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Just in regards to item number 2.1, I suppose the question is more along the lines of its status is in progress. This is to do with the motion that I successfully put through for open and transparent briefings, the policy around opening the briefings to the public. And my question is that when the new council is elected, what is the likely time frame for that report to be presented to the new councillor group so that they can discuss the opportunity to open briefings to the public?
Thank you, Councillor, and through you, Mayor. Officers are currently doing a wide array of research looking at models both here in Victoria and elsewhere to make sure we're looking at all those possibilities and all those options, and we'll be discussing that with the new incoming council within the first quarter of their first year of their term, and based on any feedback from them as a new council group, we'll then develop a position paper to bring to council. So we'll certainly have it high on the list, and officers are already working on the research required to inform a position. Thank you.
Fabulous. Well, I wish them every success and hope that I'll be joining them. Thank you.
Councillors, are there any other questions of officers in relation to the council meeting resolution register? No, I see none. I believe there is a recommendation in the report. Do I have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Reeves. And a seconder, Councillor Stowe. And Councillor Reeves, would you like to speak to the motion?
No, look, we're just receiving and noting these reports and all the attachments pertaining to this particular register, and just note and thank the council officers for implementing what has been resolved.
Thank you, Councillor Reeves. Councillor Stowe.
Just a good job for the staff to implement such a large quantity of work.
Thank you, Councillor Stowe. Councillors, is the motion opposed? Would anybody else like to speak for or against the motion? No, in which case I will put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? And that is carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. Next agenda item is 3.1.2, which is the draft annual report 2023-24. Ms Johnson, I believe this also sits in your directorate. If you'd like to introduce the item, please.
Thank you, Mayor. So before you is the draft annual report for 2023-2024. The annual report contains the significant achievements of Council throughout the last financial year, and you can see there is a lot of significant achievements that are throughout the report, as well as some significant challenges. The report highlights Council's advocacy delivered capital works projects, community programs and organisational performance. The report also contains the annual financial statements and performance statements. So from a snapshot perspective, I wanted to highlight a few areas. So the successful delivery of $56.6 million in projects across the last financial year, which represents the largest capital works program ever undertaken by council. While some projects, as we know, will extend into the next financial year, many are part of the ongoing multi-year initiatives that will continue to benefit our community for years to come. We've completed 126 infrastructure projects, which addresses a really wide range of diverse community needs, with road upgrades, new sports facilities and improvements with council open and public spaces. There was the adoption of the Rural Land Use Strategy and the Housing Settlement Strategy, which guides how we manage housing growth over the next 15 years while protecting agricultural land. The completion of the design of the Bairnsdale Regional Compost Facility, and one other I wanted to highlight was developing the ICT strategic plan. So that's about the goal of improving our business services for our community to deliver better outcomes, and also as part of that, the transparency piece that we've been talking about a lot. Now to the financials. So the important part at my end. Ensuring the long-term financial sustainability is council's primary goal, and you all know that at your heart. The focus is vital so we can continue to deliver over the 100 services for our community and continue to invest in community assets for everyone's benefits. In 2023-24, the budget was based on a 3.5% rate cap in line with the Victorian Government's fair go rate systems. Like previous years, Council did not seek a variation to the rate cap and continue to absorb the increasing costs, including inflation at 3.8% over that period. Council relies on the support from Victorian federal governments to deliver key infrastructure projects and provide support for other important programs in the region. A significant level of advocacy is involved in many grants, and overall we achieved $27.2 million in grant funding from state and federal governments during the last financial year. Just from a really high level, making sure that you can see that we're on the right track towards long-term financial sustainability, I wanted to highlight the renewal and replacement of existing assets, working capital and the operating and underlying results. The asset renewal percentage is a really important one, and the target is at least over 100%. For 23-24 we hit 126.5%, and it's a reflection of our commitment to maintaining and enhancing our asset base, ensuring that we're not just keeping up with depreciation but improving our infrastructure for the future. The working capital is over 150%, with the target being set at 150% and came in at 283%, which means we're really well positioned to pay all of our short-term obligations without raising any external capital. And we recorded an operating surplus of $22.5 million. It's a positive indicator, but we also do want to outline that the crucial measure of financial sustainability is the adjusted underlying result, which we can highlight as a medium risk rating because it takes out the non-cash contributions and non-recurring grant income. The reason for that, though, was the timing of the receipt of the Victorian Grants Commission's payment, which we received the previous financial year and had to be recorded in that financial year. There's a couple of things that we've been doing from an advocacy perspective, and you'll all know about that in the submissions for the inquiries into financial sustainability at both the federal and state level. Finally, I wanted to highlight the unmodified audit opinion and congratulate the finance team for their hard work in ensuring the statements are presented fairly. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Ms Johnson. Councillors, are there any questions of officers in relation to the report? No, we have seen this before. Councillor Buckley, please go ahead.
Yes, look, thank you very much. I have two questions. One is one of the greatest achievements for the remote and rural communities in this report is definitely the mobile library services, and I was really pleased that that my suggestion for that was supported by the councillor group. Statistically, that's being well utilised. Is that correct?
Yeah, thanks, Councillor Buckley. Yes, absolutely. It is being well utilised, and the feedback that we're receiving for that particular service is still extremely positive.
That was a really great achievement. There's so many of them that's in this report, it's hard to pick out all of them. The other thing that I just wanted to raise with you is the advocacy document that has been presented on behalf of the East Gippsland Shire. There was some information in regards to council rates and the CPI and rate cap and financial sustainability. Our ask was that rate caps considering the rate caps would be removed for the rural areas. I couldn't support that particular motion because of that. Can you tell me exactly what has happened in regards to that advocacy piece? Has there been any response?
Thanks, Councillor Buckley. I'm not sure I am across the detail of that particular point that you're making. I'm sorry. I'm looking to Fiona to see if she can provide any answer or not.
Thank you, and thank you for your question, Councillor. And through you, Mayor, our advocacy on financial matters focus very much on an increase to the financial assistance grants. So having discussed around the table with all of the councillor group our position on rate capping, there wasn't a whole of council position on rate capping, so we didn't have that in our final advocacy and our final submissions to both the state and federal government's hearings. We focus very much on the need for the financial assistance grants, which have not been CPI indexed, to be CPI indexed. Thank you.
Thank you for that clarification.
Councillor, is there any further questions of officers before we move on? No, there is an officer recommendation in the report. Do I have a mover for that motion? Councillor Uri, thank you. And a seconder? Councillor White, thank you. Councillor Uri, would you like to speak to the motion?
Just briefly, and thank you to our officers for their report. It feels like getting the annual end of school report, looking at the annual report, which it is really, and it's a report for us, for the councillors, to look back and see what we set out to do and how well we actually achieved that over the year. But probably more importantly, it's a report to our community about what's being achieved. So I really appreciate the report itself. I think it's beautifully presented. It'll look even better when it's got some other pictures attached to it, because it looks as if the councillors haven't been doing anything all year, but there is a reason for that, being in caretaker mode. But the layout of the document, the readability of the document, I think makes it something that many members of our community will be tempted to have a look at. It's been great to hear some of the highlights already. Obviously, when you get your report, there are things that you're very proud of and things that you think, oh, perhaps we could have done things differently there. But overall, I think the work that's been achieved over the last year has been pretty extraordinary. One of the things that I like about the annual report is that it puts the work in context. So this work has been done 3 or 4 years post fires and COVID. So there's been a lot of emphasis on recovery projects and building community resilience. Our own staff there's been quite a high turnover of our own staff, and we welcomed our new CEO just in April 2024. There's been increased cost of building and of delivering service, and that's quite clearly outlined in the report as well. And of course, we know that our residents are experiencing an increasing cost of living, and that affects everything that the council does as well. But there are many highlights. I also find it hard to pick out what they are, but I think just briefly a few. The Rural Land Use Strategy and the Housing and Settlement Strategy, I think, were key documents that Council adopted and will help to guide the work and development in our Shire for many years to come. I think emergency response and community preparedness has been a key feature of the work over the last 12 months as we better understand our responsibilities around our heating planet and the resultant effects and impacts on our communities. The ICT area highlights around, and that includes cybersecurity and partnership with Wellington, saving dollars and creating efficiencies, and also increasing skills of our staff. That's been a real highlight, I think, over the past 12 months. Obviously, the CapEx program with a record of 56.6 million has been something quite extraordinary for this council to have delivered. There are some projects that, of course, we inherited as we came into our term of council, and some that won't have finished. They'll carry on for the next council. Very big projects to deliver for our community. I'm sure every every community we go to, we can see that there are improved streetscapes and increased facilities, so that's been wonderful. It's great to see the library usage increase. Of course, that's cost council more, but that was a deliberate and conscious decision by this council as a result of the service review that we undertook. And finally, to leave the council in a position where the financial position is sustainable too is something that we can be comforted by. I would like to thank all our staff for all that work. Of course, councillors set the direction, but it's not delivered without the staff and their hard work throughout the year. So thank you very much to every single member of our staff for all the work that's been done. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Uri. Councillor White, would you like to speak to the recommendation?
I would. Not a lot left to say. But I would like to congratulate the staff on their achievements for the 12 months. It's been outstanding. The proof is out there. I think we've engaged much better with the community over their needs. We've supported them and we've produced some really good outcomes in capital works. But then look at the ongoing things, and I'll feature the Parks and Gardens department, who are just there. You hardly even see them, but they are just keeping the place looking really, really, really tidy. Do the lawns, do the gardens. We have our floral display, and of course the Main Street Gardens is a feature not only for us but for people who come to visit it. You know, you'll see it on postcards that how much people think of our gardens. So, and above all, and surely I can mention Portia. What a wonderful job you and your staff have done in producing this, and it has been truly an outstanding year, and we really have delivered for the community. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor White. Councillor, would anybody else like to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Reeves, please go ahead.
Thanks very much, Mayor. This final East Gippsland Council report for this council, I think, marks a significant conclusion to a term dedicated to community engagement and regional development. I think this report highlights the key achievements of this group and the staff and our community, including infrastructure upgrades, economic initiatives and environmental sustainability efforts. One highlight that I would like to point out, and being the remote councillor who has been a responder to emergencies as well as supporting communities in planning and preparation, I'd like to note that we funded and installed 10 generators to enhance energy reliability in isolated communities, such as Bendock, Tubbut, Bonang, Club Terrace, Combined Bar, Can River, Cabbage Tree, Woolgoolmerang, and Clifton Creek. And many of these are very close to where I live, and I'm very delighted to know that those communities are safer and better connected as a result. This underscores the importance of collaboration with residents and stakeholders in addressing those local challenges. As a council, when we reflect on the success and our areas for improvement in future, this report sets a stage for the future council and leadership to build upon those foundations. Overall, I think it emphasises the commitment to enhancing the quality of life in East Gippsland that we all feel is important, and ensuring community needs remain at the centre of our priorities. And again, as other councillors have said, can I thank the officers for their work in presenting an accessible and beautiful and readable report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Reeves. Would anybody else like to speak to the recommendation? Councillor Allen, please go ahead.
Thank you.
Take your microphone on. It is now.
There we go. I just want to say well done to all of the organisation. It's, you know, a criticism that we hear from time to time is the council does nothing. Well, if you've got a couple of hours, sit down and read the report, because the council does a hell of a lot. And I think that every member of the organisation needs to be congratulated for providing the services that our people really value. So well done, everyone.
Thank you, Councillor Allen. Anybody else like to speak to the motion? Councillor Buckley, please go ahead.
Yes, just very quickly. Being the most remote councillor has been quite a challenge, and listening to our community in the last 4 years and seeing the challenges that they've faced, seeing the challenges that we've faced as a councillor group and the organisation has faced. I think that we've done the very best that we all could, and we can always strive to do better. And I think with Fiona at the helm, this particular report, we will look back and reflect in the next 4 years on I wish the councillors of the next 4 years that they'll have as much success as we have, and have learnt by any of the failures that we've had as well. And thank you very much, officers, for all the work that you've done in the 4-year term that I've been here with you, and I wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Buckley. Would anybody else like to speak for or against the motion? No, in which case I will put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? And that is carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. Agenda item number 4 in this evening's meeting is urgent business, of which I believe there is none. Is that correct, CEO?
We have no urgent business, Mayor.
Very good. Agenda item number 5 is confidential business, of which I also believe there is none.
No confidential business, Mayor.
Which brings us to the close of tonight's final meeting for this councillor group. So thank you very much, everybody, for your work over the last 4 years, and I'll draw the meeting to a close at 6:26. Good night.
Good night, Mayor. Thank you.